In the meantime, reactions have trailed plan by the National Assembly to initiate a bill, to ensure that presidents-elect are sworn in the arcade of the National Assembly. The leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, had made this disclosure while responding to questions on the June 12 anniversary in Abuja. Bamidele said that the legislation was part of efforts to strengthen the country's democracy. He said that the parliament would also initiate another legislation for the president to deliver the State of the Nation address in the National Assembly on June 12th annually. The National Assembly has invited President Bola Tinubu to address a joint session of the Senate and the House of Representatives on Thursday to mark the 2025 National Democracy Day. Joining us to discuss this is legal practitioner and public affairs analyst Taiwo Ojumu. Taiwo, thanks so much for joining us. I mean, how does the NAS proposal to swear in presidents within the chamber align with the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution? Are there legal limitations or procedural conflicts?
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, I must say that sometimes I like to think Nigeria is a theater of the absurd. By that I mean we seem to prioritize things that are not very important. We seem to major on minor things and minor on major things. Now, of all things important, of all things expedient, of all things urgent, this proposed bill is what the National Assembly thinks they should be coming up with. Now, if you ask me, should it matter where the president-elect is sworn in? You know, for instance, if I was hungry now, or if I'm thirsty and I demand for a bottle of soda, for me, what matters at that point is the content in that bottle of soda, not the soda itself. I mean, not the bottle itself, the content. So for me, should it really matter where the president is sworn in? There are plethora of more important things that our leaders in National Assembly can preoccupy their time with. For me, now, speaking on the question of whether it conflicts with any provision of the Constitution or of any known law, traditionally speaking, where the president-elect has been, is sworn in, has always been the Eagle Square. So, what is wrong with continuing in that tradition? Now, the Senate leader, Bamidele, did say that one of the benefits is to entrench democracy. Now, I stand to be corrected. I want to understand exactly what that means. Democracy in one sense. In what sense? How in God's name with that entrenched democracy? There are 1,001 other things, other bills, that can be proposed, that can bring about meaningful and productive change. Not proposing to change the venue of the swearing in of a president-elect. It doesn't matter where it is done. Even if it is done somewhere in the corner of in the rural areas of Abuja, what matters is it is done in line with the Constitution. So me, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be an issue of public discourse, if you ask me.
I mean,
but that's my opinion once again.
I'm certain that a lot of Nigerians, they also share the same sentiments and opinion as you. But let's just stick to the script, shall we? In terms of roles and separations of powers, how does separation of powers play in the debate over moving the presidential swearing-in ceremony to the legislative chambers? Could this shift imply legislative overreach?
Yes, I agree with you that as much as the primary function, one of the primary functions of the legislative arm of government is to perform oversight function and check and create some sort of check and balance on the powers, which sometimes could lead to excesses on the part of the executive. I think that trying to bring, trying to make, to change the venue and bring the venue of the inauguration of the swearing of the president-elect to the premises of NAS, of National Assembly, appears to be an overreaching, if you ask me. That's not the primary function. There are other ways the National Assembly can vet the excesses or can check and balance some of the powers of the executive. Bringing that to me is overreaching. I mean, I don't see anything to justify that. I've been thinking of what can justify that. I don't understand. It is too less important. What is the importance of that? That is the question that keeps coming to mind for me.
Right. And one of the things about one thing that I think we should draw attention to in terms of importance is inclusivity and openness of such ceremony. I mean, would such a proposal affect the inclusivity of it or the openness of the ceremony, given the limited public access to legislative premises that we have in Nigeria?
One of the major arguments in favor of that proposed bill is that it is believed that since the National Assembly is a conglomerate of different people representing different parts of the country, and that somehow it will not. I mean, that people, that almost every Nigerian will be represented in that house, because somehow the National Assembly is composed of representatives of Nigerians across the country, and so the argument is that the issue of people being denied of the opportunity of witnessing the events is cancelled. But like I said again, for me, it amounts to overreaching on the powers on the executive. The National Assembly, our leaders should major on the major things and stop majoring on minor things. Of all things, like I said earlier, of all things important and expedient, that should not be what we should be discussing at this moment. There are 1,001 bills that can be proposed that can bring about meaningful and productive change. Yeah, thank you.
All right. I know one thing for certain. They should focus on education and decentralizing security for the sake of Plateau and Benue. And it makes you wonder, what precedents this would set for what this proposal would set in terms of precedents for elected offices such as, on the state level, whether it's governors, local government chairmen, or councillors. But Taiwo, this is all we can take at this time. I want to say thank you, Taiwo Ojumu, legal practitioner and public affairs analyst.